Going, here's the rest of what goes down. Utah also sends Joe Johnson to Sacramento. Jay Crowder, also short-lived with the Cavs, and Derrick Rose go to Utah. And then tacking onto this deal, George Hill to the Cavs, which you mentioned, but Shumpert on his way to the Kings. So the Kings get Joe Johnson, they get Shumpert on their way in and then on their way out.
Kobe, just shake it on up, Kobe.
George Hill, right? So you get George Hill and Clarkson.
Two big guards.
And Nance and Hood.
Young,
you get athletic. You fix the backcourt. That's a heck of a day so far.
Don't get the shooting with Hood, the shooting too now.
If all that does anything for you, they've had a good day.
I want to share with the viewers what we were just talking about, because you know LBJ as well as anybody. Is there anyone else who you think would be able to mesh all of this together as quickly as he's going to have to as LeBron? And why, tell us, is he the right guy to be able to figure all this out?
Well, no, I don't think there's anybody else in the league that could take a team in this short of order and put it together and actually take it where it's trying to go. But I think what makes him so unique is, one, he has the instant respect of every young kid that walks in that locker room. Two, his native game is to make everybody better. And three, I think, and this is really important, he can still really defend when he wants to. And he let the cat out of the bag last night with the block. If that's the LeBron James they get between now and the end of the year, and these young, athletic, defensive-minded guys come in and help, the fact that George is older, injury-prone, and has a long contract isn't going to matter very much. This is a really good series of events for them.
No, I agree. And bringing in guys with the right personalities, too, and I think really fits in with LeBron. The guys that want to win, want to work hard, want to go deep into the playoffs. And I think when you bring in guys who've never been that far before, to your point, when they walk into the locker room, they're going to be listening because they're trying to figure out, I just been traded, DA. How do I get on this system right away so I can bring my skill set to help this team win?
Yeah, it's a, look, I love the fact that Kobe Altman just
go all in.
Yeah.
Go all in.
That's it.
Go all in. What else? What do you have to lose?
Got to go for it, right?
You have to build something that you could potentially play without LeBron. You have to have that in the back of your mind. What if he leaves? What do I have left? You have transformed your team. Now we'll see if Rodney Hood's, it's not going to be cheap to keep Rodney Hood, but George Hill is on contract, veteran point guard. You've added Clarkson under contract. You've added Nance under contract.
Kept your pick.
You kept your pick from Brooklyn. You still have Kevin Love. As of right now, you still have Tristan Thompson. So you have at least the skeleton of a team that you could put out there if LeBron leaves. Now, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he looks at this and says, I'm staying. I don't know. But at least now you have done as much as you can to protect yourself going forward.
I don't know if over on the couches you guys have the fast fingers like in Millionaire quick enough to try and figure out all of this edition with the TI-82 calculators over there. But we've got our capologist Eric Pincus and we've got Sekou from NBA.com. Guys, give us your reaction, then take us through from a financial standpoint. What does this mean for these teams?
Well, look, we talked about it last night on Game Time with Cleveland needing to do something to that roster to change the temperature in that locker room. They've clearly done that. But, Eric, what does this do in terms of the flexibility they'll have going into the summer? With or without LeBron, they've got to look at how they go forward.
Well, they weren't like a team that was going to have huge spending power. They might have had some if Shumpert had left and Isaiah left and LeBron left. But at that point, they wouldn't be in a position to go free agent shopping anyway, right? So they're getting Rodney Hood, who's a guy who's going to be due for a contract. He's restricted, so they'll have the chance. Anybody wants to give him an offer, they have the say. They can keep him long term. You have Larry Nance, who's a very cheap contract on a rookie deal and a very, very good player and a great fit, right? Jordan Clarkson, $12.5 million, reasonable money. George Hill, expensive, but he's a good vet. And so they're still paying a lot of money. They're a repeat tax offender. They're at about 100 and I came up with 170 something. Still trying to run those numbers. Right. They'll probably pay that's with tax, right? So maybe 180 somewhere. They added maybe $3 million in salary. This is not a big deal. Maybe if they add $10 million, they have a shot to do something this year. They clearly still want a shot at keeping LeBron, right? I mean, if this works, there's no guarantee that he leaves, and maybe these guys all come. But let's say he leaves. Now you've got young guys. You gave up a pick to the Lakers, but you still have that Brooklyn pick, right? So that could be top 5, top 10, top 3, top number 1. Maybe they get the number 1 pick.
So this is a temporary transformation, both on the court and in the books. But how do you, if you're Cleveland, how do you approach the summer not knowing what LeBron's going to do with all of these different moving parts, all these different guys that are going to be involved in this?
Obviously, that's the biggest question for everyone, for every team. For everyone's going to look at LeBron. What does LeBron want to do? Maybe he wants to go, and maybe he wants to stay. Maybe he wants to go to the Lakers, who have the room. Maybe the Houston Rockets find a way. That's been the big rumor, that he goes to play with Chris Paul, and they get the Banana Boat crew together, somehow get Carmelo Anthony there, and Wade go. You know, who knows? But from the Cleveland perspective, if he leaves, you have to have a future. And getting that Brooklyn pick. Rodney Hood's someone who could be someone that you invest in. Jordan Clarkson, I think he's a really nice sixth man. And like I said, Larry Nance. So you've got some potential. Osman, they've Zizic. I mean, it's a rebuild, and no one likes rebuilding. But if LeBron leaves, that's the reality.
Apparently, they like rebuilding in Cleveland. Casey, back to you at the desk with some breaking news.
I mean, really, this is like this is. We're in Disney World.
Come on, baby.
This is the
best time
Disney
to come
World
to
of
work,
trades.
man. This is the best time to come to work.
How about homecomings? Do you like homecomings?
Yes, I do.
Cleveland is sending D. Wade back home to Miami. Woj, by the way, also reports that with the organization getting younger, they gave Wade a chance to return home and worked out a deal to get him home to the Heat. So it sounds like everybody kind of on the same page. But somewhere on this page beforehand, Griv, as you were talking about this, soothsayer, we should just ask you what's going to happen next. Why did this seem like the next logical play?
I think, again, when you're looking at clearing out the locker room and making it easier to have fewer mouths to feed, they just got so much deeper. Something was going to have to give. And out of respect and loyalty to somebody like Dwayne, you're going to want to give him the opportunity to do what he wants to do before you put him in a situation to not see the court very much the rest of the way. So it just made sense that they had to get somebody else out of there, because they've really struggled with the rotations because of how deep they were when they won 18 of 19, let alone now with these additional pieces they've added.
It's big time for Kobe to make a move like that, and because Kobe's been around the league, understanding and have that conversation with the future Hall of Fame like Dwayne Wade, I thought is huge. And I think D. Wade looks at it and says, you know what, I'm going back home, I'm going back where I started. And guess what? Miami's still in the playoff hunt as well, so it's not a total bad move for both sides, in my opinion.
Look, Dwayne Wade was always going back to Miami. Whether it was a
one way or the other.
One way or the other. He was always going to finish up in Miami. I don't think anybody who was paying attention doubted that. Now, would it be free agency? You thought maybe. Now it's this way. He did not want to leave Miami. He wanted to get paid what he thought he should have gotten paid as a legacy, the same that Kobe got paid from the Lakers as a legacy. And I think he has every right to expect that from Miami. He is the most important player in the history of that franchise.
Yes.
All due respect to Alonzo Mourning and Shaq and the other people who are there. Dwayne Wade is and LeBron. Dwayne Wade is the most important player who ever played for the Miami Heat. And so for that reason, there was always a sentiment, both within and without, that he was going to wind up back in Miami. That it's now, is a little surprising, but not terribly, because he has roots that go very deep in that community and go very deep in that city. The love is a two-way love in that between him and the city of Miami. So I'm happy for him that he gets to finish where he started.
And reportedly a heavily protected second-round pick is going the other way. Obviously, semantics at that point with this deal. Been a crazy start to the deadline. We've got folks all over the country, including Howard Beck from USA Today up in New York. Howard, trying to decipher everything that has gone on. So I'll leave it open-ended. What's your reaction to what Cleveland did so far today?
I'm going to fall out of my chair. Can I fall out of my chair and still analyze things?
Just don't hurt yourself.
I might not be in. I might not be on the screen. Well, first overarching reaction, congratulations, masterful job by Kobe Altman to be able to bring in this many new pieces, useful pieces, better pieces, without even parting with that golden ticket, the Brooklyn Nets pick. I mean, it's really incredibly impressive. I thought that, from all the both, internally and outwardly, all of the buzz about Cleveland was that they wanted to hedge their bets. They weren't sure what they should do. If LeBron's leaving, do you need to prepare for the future without him? And so it sounded like there could be maybe some paralysis and just settling for what they had and just let the chips fall where they may. They didn't do that. And frankly, and I've been saying this all along here, this is the right move. Being all in is the right move. Being all in without having to throw in the Brooklyn pick is even better. But I was of the belief that even if you had to put that on the table, to make moves now, to try to win now, that was the right move. Because even if LeBron leaves, this is your last shot if that's the case. And you don't get a LeBron James once every 30 years if you're lucky. So having him means you need to be all in. You need to go for it all. And, obviously the Cavaliers, from Dan Gilbert on down to Kobe Altman and the rest, agreed with that stance, that they believe they have to do everything possible to win now and fix this team. It's a lot of new pieces, and they have to mesh very quickly. But as Griff was alluding to a little while ago, LeBron is the kind of guy who pulls guys together. And there's a lot of savvy vets in that group. They're stronger now than they were 10 minutes ago.
Howard, and of course, Howard Bleacher Report, my mind went mush about 45 minutes ago, 6 trades in already with this deadline. I got to ask about IT and the Lakers. Does this have a chance to be some sort of redemption story the rest of the year where he ends up being an option for them long term, or is this just something we see play out here for a couple of months in LA?
Look, I don't want to read too far in the future on this, but I got to believe that the Lakers' play here for Isaiah Thomas is mostly about his expiring deal, and they're trying to clear cap room for the summer. I know that they've been sending out, these smoke signals that suddenly they were going to play for 2019 and blow off 2018. I never thought that was really going to be the case. This shows that they are still very much focused on being able to use their cap space this summer to chase LeBron James, to chase Paul George, and whoever else may be available. And if they can get any of those guys, then they're going to let Isaiah Thomas walk. But in the meantime, listen, it's still not that far removed from when Isaiah Thomas just got back on the court after 7.5 months off with a fairly serious hip injury. He was a net negative during his brief time in Cleveland on the court. And, but there's still time here for Isaiah Thomas to get his body right, to get his game in order, and show that he's still a very valuable player. And if that's the case, if the Lakers were to strike out in free agency, then you've got his bird rights and you can bring him back. But, they also have Lonzo Ball as their future at that position. So I have to believe that this is not necessarily the long-term stay for Isaiah Thomas in Los Angeles.
Howard, appreciate it. We'll check in with you as the day goes on. Thank you very much. All right, there's Howard Beck. Look, we continue to be kind of dazzled and amazed by what Cleveland has done. But what name was mentioned all of last night into the morning on the move? Oh, DeAndre Jordan is still out there. What are the ramifications? We didn't even get into Utah, perhaps. They're still just outside the playoffs. What does it mean, Crowder? We didn't even mention Derrick Rose. A lot still to chew on here the rest of the day. When we come back, we'll get to the social stop and we'll get to you. Jump in. Let us know on Twitter how you feel. Who's won the day other than Cleveland?